Well, good morning everybody and welcome to a Sunday morning show. I hope you've got your coffees because I've got mine. We're going to get back to what exactly I'm doing here now because in today's video we're going to start off talking a little bit about injuries. And for me personally, you've probably seen some struggles that I've had certainly with my back. Fingers crossed, my back is in fantastic working order. I'm managing to play 18 holes without really struggling at all. But James Ruth, huge wrist injuries. Had a huge wrist injury since he was a young kid, really. Went from hitting golf balls off of mats, getting tendonitis in his wrist or just damaging part of his arm, to the point where I think it had a massive problem for him when it came to getting his PGA Tour card, as in DP World Tour card or European Tour card. But for someone like him that's really struggled, he's continuing on that journey. When we went to our Spanish trip, he was struggling out there, didn't even play golf once because he was trying to rest his wrist in order to allow him to get out and play in the PGA playoffs out in Cyprus. And he was able to get it done, but still the injury continues for him. Then you got poor old Joe the Pro. Joe the Pro got bad back. I think possibly down to the fact that he's doing a lot of travel in his car. He's doing a lot of travel with Golf Monthly and in and out of the car. Maybe that's not helping his back. And then my brother, well, he took the whole winter off with his back, and now he continues with his struggles with his wrists as well. So golf, even though you would think it's not necessarily a dangerous sport when it comes to injuries, wow, a lot of very good golfers out there getting some bad backs and some bad wrists. And then we talk about my wrist. Well, I've really struggled with my wrist. I got a little bit of tendonitis in there from, I think, probably a bit of gardening, and it slowly got worse and worse over time to the point where yesterday was probably the worst it's felt on the golf course. And I don't know if it's down to the fact that I was just hitting into firm fairways or whether I was just, it was a bit colder and it really started working for me, but that was absolutely horrendous for me. So a few things I want to get through today. We're talking about the Masters and the Grand Slam. I think it would be only right to mention about Rory and his Grand Slam victory, which was absolutely amazing. It's probably the first time that I have stayed up and watched that process, but also the process of him actually getting his green jacket. Normally once they hold the winning putt, I'm like, lights out, I'm out of here, because it's generally past midnight at that point and we've probably got something going on the next day. However, this time, because it was a historic moment, I wanted to stay up and I wanted to watch him actually receive his green jacket, which he did in the Butler cabin from Scotty Scheffler. Now, the one thing that I've figured out with Rory, and something that some of you may have noticed as well, that when he got nervous, which I think he was pretty much nervous the whole of that last round, I don't think he settled into the round particularly well. And what I noticed is that when he gets nervous, he struggles to draw his driver. Now, Rory is a natural drawer of the golf ball, hits it very much from the inside, hits up on it, especially with driver, and he loves to hit that shape from right to left, which maximizes his distance and gets him out there. When he doesn't draw it as much, he kind of he comes up and out of it a little bit, and therefore you're going to see him leak it out to the right-hand side. He's going to lose a bit of ball speed, so therefore his distance control is going to be poor and he's going to drop off a little bit in distance. And he didn't carry those two bunkers, which you'd think he'd just whop it straight over the top of on holes 1 and I think 2. I think those two, certainly. He went into the bunkers, maybe 1 and 3. But anyway, he really does struggle to release his hands, and I think it's down to tension, isn't it? It's got to be down to tension. If you're not being able to release that club properly through the ball, get that club face to close down, that's because your hands are tense, your arms are tense, your body's tensed up because of the emotion that you're going through at that particular time. I definitely, over the years, have struggled with that one as well. And I'm sure many of you down in the comments would probably have understood that as well. But what does this actually mean for Rory? Do we think he's going to go on and win more majors? If you think about it, this could be his best year to actually do the actual Grand Slam, which is to win all 4 majors, because he's now done the Masters, obviously, which was his real one that he was trying to get over the line. The PGA Championship, I think, is on a golf course that he has won 5 times on. The US Open is Oakmont, I think, which means that there's lots of dog legs. It plays quite wet, so it's a lot in the air rather than, let's say, along the ground. So he's got that advantage of being in the air. Lots of dog legs, which he might be able to take over the top of. So that's an opportunity for him. And then the Open, well, it's in Ireland. It's on a golf course that he knows extremely well. So I would say he's got an amazing opportunity to get the job done for all 4 majors. Again, down in the comments, what do you think? Is he going to do the actual Grand Slam in 2025? Now, I mentioned earlier that I played in an event yesterday. Well, I played in the PGA Championships for Devon and Cornwall. And we played at Yelverton Golf Club. I've got to say, when I went into that event, I was thinking, I'm on a bit of form. You know, I'm feeling good. I've got the clubs in the bag that I'm feeling really good with. And I felt like I had as good opportunity to win that event as I've ever had before. And even though I have finished second once before and I've lost in a playoff for this one once before, I've never got the job done. And I thought, actually, do you know what? I've got a good chance this year of actually possibly getting it done. However, I mentioned earlier about my wrist. That's the hardest I've ever felt with it. And no, did not get the job done at all. Didn't make 1 birdie. I shot 8 over par. And not going to lie, I was a little bit deflated coming up the last few holes. Putter was ice cold, had 36 putts. As I said, didn't make 1 birdie, and that was the end of my run for the PGA Championships in Devon and Cornwall. However, the one thing that I noticed from my round of golf was that I was really struggling with the lefts with my irons. Now remember, I've put new irons in the golf bag, and the iron setup is slightly different to what I've had in my Titleist blades in times gone by. And I'm thinking that I've gone a little bit more upright with my irons, and is that what is causing the little bit of lefts that I got with my iron play on the golf course? Not only just iron play, but wedges as well. So hitting full wedges, I was definitely whopping them a little bit left of target. So it's one of those where you kind of, when you look up and you know how well you struck the shot, but then you look up and your start position of that ball is definitely in the wrong place of where you think it should be. And like I say, I've hit enough shots to know what it feels like to hit a certain shot, and I definitely wasn't feeling that yesterday. So I thought today we'd nip into the studio, have a quick look at my lie angles just to make sure, and if that's not causing the problem, then maybe we'll just have a quick look at my swing, quick look at my swing path with my numbers, and see if there's anything I can do to try and rectify that. Then I want to pop back here because I want to tell you a little bit about some of the brands that I'm going to be working with in 2025. I know it's April, but we've only just got these over the line, so I just want to share some of those with you. Anyway, let's get to the studio. So the first test that I want to do before we even get some marks on clubs or anything like that and test out the lie angles is I'm going to do what I call the blind test. So we're going to turn off the screen, we're going to hit some shots, and we're going to see how my 7 irons in my Titleist compared to the Mizuno's, how they compare. I'm just going to swing it as normal as I can just to see exactly where they actually end up. Well, that's the Mizuno done, and you can see there from the chart here that I'm not actually missing it massively left. I've got as many right as I have left, so therefore I'm pretty convinced that actually it's probably done on the day. But if we then look at what I'm getting out of then the Titleist, which I've got to say my wrist is starting to really hurt now, again, very similar, a little bit right, a little bit left, so all in all, I'm actually not too bad. But let's just have a quick look at that lie angle. And this is just a little trick that Joe the Pro talked about, just a little marker on the ball itself, draw a line down it, then we hit the shot. A little bit left, a little bit toey. But what you can see there is a couple of lines, I've hit a couple of shots now, which clearly indicate that we have got an absolutely vertical line on this 8 iron, which gives me confidence that actually the lie that I've got on these clubs is pretty much spot on for what I'm trying to do with my golf swing. However, that gets rid of the problem that it's the clubs. It's obviously me. So with GC Quad in mind and the dots that I've got on the face of the club, we can get a measurement now of exactly what is going on through the golf swing and through my swing path and my face position. So let's take a quick look at what's going on here. I mean, that was down the line, which wasn't bad. Swing path 1.7 degrees in to out with a face that is a little bit close to actual path, so that's pretty good, only 1 degree in it, so that's tidy. I just think it's probably on the day. Swing path 0.5 degrees in to out with a face that is 0.5 degrees close to that, and then strike performance absolutely right out the middle, and distance wise 159 in the carry with my 7-iron, which is actually quite good to know. So ultimately we figured out that my lie angle's pretty good on my club, so we're happy with that. We've figured out that my swing path is really quite nice through the ball train. I don't know maybe what it was. It was maybe just that I was maybe suffering with that injury a little bit, which is making me maybe use my left hand maybe a little bit more. Difficult to say, but this is the important bit, isn't it? Maybe not make a rash decision, a quick change. Just come and check out a few things before you start looking at it in a little bit more detail. I'm probably going to hit a few more balls in here. However, I'll see you back upstairs in the office. Now, when it comes to working with brands, it's like a dream come true for me. You got to think about, unless you're a tour player, you're not really going to have the opportunity to get the TV exposure to, let's say, have a brand want to follow your journey. Well, from 2005 onwards, when YouTube became a thing and people had started making videos, then we're starting to see the brands now move away from, let's say, journeyman tour pros. You're always going to get those players that are going to be on the TV an awful lot, but journeyman tour pros don't really get a great deal of exposure. And then you talk about a YouTube channel, a channel like this one, which gets 50,000 subscribers. Therefore, we've got an audience that I would say of around 10 to 20,000 people that are really core audience people that are going to tune in to pretty much every video we put out or get involved with anything that we do. Well, brands are going to look at that and go, actually, do you know what? We've got 15 to 20,000 people here who play golf on a regular basis and follow Dan's journey. Therefore, they might want to get involved with Dan's channel. So what brands do is they get involved, whether it comes down to individual like trips or whether it comes down to actually sponsoring a channel for a period of time, let's say for a year or even 2 years. Well, we know about Under Armour, and that is an absolute dream come true. Not just the fact that I get to work with one of the biggest brands in the world, but I get to work with the amazing people behind Under Armour. And for me personally, when it comes to choosing deals and working with brands, that's extremely important. So having Under Armour on board, which I've already done an announcement on that, but having Under Armour on board for the next 2 years, extremely important. And they know that the opportunity to possibly, over the next 2 years, to get in the same room as someone like Jordan Spieth, well, that would be a dream come true. The next one, now this is quite a cool one because Pure Shot golf tees. Now, these guys say that they are going to give me 11% less spin and 7 more yards, certainly with my driver. Now, for those of you that have watched my video will understand that what they say on their label actually works. And it's all to do with friction, I think. When it comes to the top of these tee pegs, they are a little bit flatter than what you're going to find on a normal tee peg. And I know that might sound absolutely ridiculous. And if I'm brutally honest, I thought that was absolutely ridiculous, which is why I did the video on it. Well, the video came back showing me that I gained yardage, I reduced spin, I did everything it said on the label. And when I put that video out, and you've got to remember, it's a non-biased video. It's purely a video that I've just done and found the findings. I actually wanted to prove them wrong, if I'm brutally honest, but I couldn't because ultimately the numbers were the numbers and that's what I got. Well, Pure Shot Golf Tees reached out to me, again, probably looked at the channel and went, do you know what? That's a fair enough video. Why don't we look at doing something with Dan moving forward? So that's what they've done. So they've got behind the channel. And they've provided me with Pure Shot golf tees. They've provided me with a link for you guys to get a little bit of a discount when it comes to ordering your Pure Shot golf tees. So having Pure Shot golf tees involved in the channel in whatever way they can be, I think is absolutely fantastic. So for 2025, Pure Shot golf tees will be in my golf bag. Link down in the description. Next one, brand new GX golf gloves. Now, GX golf gloves are direct-to-consumer golf gloves. They are Cabretta leather, and when it comes to the comparison of all the other golf gloves that I've used out there, this is really no different, but it comes at a price point that I think is certainly more manageable for the majority of people out there, and that is why I have agreed to get involved with GX golf gloves. Again, link in the description where you can go and pick up your own golf gloves. But I've had them out on the golf course testing them for the last few weeks. I've had Lester out testing them as well for the last few weeks. And I gotta say, the quality of them, the feel of them, the durability of them, very important for me as a golfer, and they tick all the boxes. They come in a fantastic little pouch like this one, which again is waterproof, therefore you're gonna protect your gloves as much as you can. So GX golf gloves will be in my golf bag again for 2025. Now back to my experiment. Some of you may have seen this experiment already gone out on Instagram, already gone out on Facebook, but I have this year signed up with Golf Inc. And the reason I've signed up with Golf Inc. is I've been using their pens for a little while now on my golf balls. I always use a Sharpie. I just get a bit annoyed with Sharpies because they wear out so fast, you know. I think they've actually got worse over time. However, Golf Inc. are a brand that I think is relatively new, certainly relatively new to my eyes anyway. And they're saying that their golf marker, their ball marker, should we call it, ink, lasts an awful lot longer than what we're seeing from a Sharpie. And with this one here that I've just done, this little experiment, as you can see, I started off this video, we're quite a way into this video, so we've got plenty of drying time for these two pens, but you can clearly see that on one side of the dot, it's pretty worn, and on the other side, it's pretty good, considering how much I've been rubbing these black ink marks. And yes, you've probably guessed it right. The one that is not worn is Golf Ink, and the one that is worn out is actually the Sharpie. And just a simple experiment with a little bit of water on a cloth to be able to wear it out that fast, a few shots on the golf course, and the Sharpie, yes, you have to reapply and go through that, but the Golf Ink pen just lasts a little bit longer. And for me personally, I think that's a winner. I don't lose an awful lot of golf balls, so keeping that ink nice and sharp on my golf ball is extremely important. Again, down in the description of this video, I've got a link where you can go and check it out for yourself. Last but not least, the Hole 19 app. Now, Hole 19, a GPS app, they've just launched a new live play part of this app. Remember, you can download this app free of charge, and they're going to be supporting the Dan Hendriksen Golf Society. The first event, 2nd of May at Bovey Castle. This particular app, I'm going to set up a competition. We're going to use this live play so the players can input their scores into the system. They can see the leaderboard on the app. We can see the leaderboard in the clubhouse. It's going to work so well. I'm really excited to be getting involved with these guys for this year. So there you go. There is the brands that I'm going to be working with in 2025. And you may turn around and go, oh, this is just a sales pitch, Dan. Well, ultimately, these guys are supporting this channel, which enables me to be able to keep creating the content that we create to put out there for you to be entertained. My job is to find brands that can help with your golf, and I think that these brands can certainly help with your golf out there for this year. Down in the description, I've put some little links for you so you can go and check them out for yourself. And don't forget, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you again on next week's Sunday morning show.